What up? What up, everybody? What's going on? What's going on, everybody? Zone in the house, zone in the building. Well, zone outside, I should say. What up? What up? What's going on, the Bell 5000? Happy New Year, man. Yeah, 2025. 2025. It's a little bit windy out here. I apologize in advance. I was going to use my headset, but the funny thing about the headset is that when you use it, even though it's like noise canceling, it's like it picks up more wind. So yeah, welcome to Zone864TV. I'm your host, Mr. Zone864. We are in a new year. 2025. And we made it. Going into the golden era. Outside of the elements. I wish I had a good enough camera. On this phone. Over here to the east. Well, hold on. You can see the mountains. So that will let you know I'm out in the cuts. You can see the mountaintops. And normally, and I apologize to y'all. I've been drinking tea. You know what I mean? Try to get my immune system right. But it's making my nose run. It's making my mouth dry. My lips dry. So I apologize. You know what I'm saying? I might be on here looking like Ashy Larry from the Chappelle Show. But you know, I don't fake the funk for nobody. Yeah, so you know, as you can see, I'm out in the cuts, out in the elements, and believe it or not, it's actually 55 degrees right now. Can you believe that? And the sun is out, as you can see, in the Valley of the Sun. 55 degrees. Y'all say, Zone, why you out here walking? Why you out there walking in the cold, boy? Well, I know as black people we like sun, you know? As black people we like sun. But, you know, as someone who has kind of somewhat been an outdoorsman, somewhat, and it has played sports my entire life until I became an adult, even up into college. You know, when you play football or when you playing, you know, something that's outdoors, well, you don't cancel the game just because it's cold outside, right? Nah, you got to go out there and you got to play in that shit. You got to go out there and you got to play in the elements. So, what happens, right? Your body temperature is at a constant degree level of 98.3 degrees, right? So if you never expose your body to variable temperature, meaning temperatures that fluctuate, you're more prone to actually get sick than somebody who's in hot climates, who's in cold climates. So that's why, for instance, right, me being in the Valley of the Sun in Phoenix, when the temperature falls below 65 degrees, 65, 70 degrees, a lot of people here get sick because what happens is, you know, in the summertime and in the late fall as well, right? The temperatures here are well in the triple digits. We just actually left, it's January. We just left triple digits in November. Thanksgiving it was 100 degrees. It's around 100 degrees over here for Thanksgiving. So we're barely just getting into our fall season, which is winter, but it's really fall for us. So watching for dogs, just in case I gotta stomp the hell out of a dog. You know what I'm saying? I don't play with no dogs. And I got the right shoes on, I'll stomp the hell out of that dog. But yeah, so we just leaving triple digits over here. So we only been really cold for about a month and a half, or cool, you know what I mean? We ain't really been cold, we've been cool for about a month and a half. And why am I getting, hold up. Had to turn my do not disturb mode on. People want to text me and call me. But yeah, man, that's why I'm out here. I don't want to be out here. You know what I'm saying? But you know, I figure I got a few minutes and it's not too cold and the sun is out, so you know, might as well take a walk, you know, stretch these legs, get a little bit of sun, a little bit of natural vitamin D, and yeah, yo, one thing I want to talk about too, I don't think this is going to be a long live stream, but you know, every time I say it's not going to be a long live stream end up being like an hour and a half, almost 2 hours. But make sure y'all hit the like button, whether y'all watching live or recorded, make sure you hit the like button for me. Make sure you hit the subscribe button as well if you are stopping by, you know, or if you just happen to see this in the feed, in your algorithm. You know what I mean? But there was a Oh, what's going on, XL Pro? Salute. But there was a 17-year-old boy, young man, in, I think it was Memphis, or not, sorry, not Memphis, but somewhere in Tennessee. Not Memphis, but somewhere in Tennessee. And let's see, Nashville. Okay. Appreciate that, XL Pro. See, that is the benefit of having people in the chat room, knowledgeable people. Yeah, so there was a young man in Nashville, Tennessee, who I don't really know too much about the story, but what I know is that there was a school shooting from this young man who was 17. And of course, well, not of course, but he was a black man, a young black, a young black boy, because he was 17. And you know, typically, you know, to be honest, oh, what's going on, good Brad? Salute. Got the crew in here today. And typically, this is not behavior. This is not the kind of behavior of young black men. And so I happen to be scrolling through YouTube this morning, and I saw a young lady who was actually older than me. Some of you guys probably know her in the chat. Some of you guys, I'm not gonna say her name because I don't want to really give. I don't really want to give her no shine, because most of you know I don't. You know, my messages are really catered to men, right? Just like I told my lady, you know, she's like, hey, why don't you go live and talk about this? And you know, I'm like, no, because my messages are catered to men and young men and boys. I don't really care to really give women shine like that, individual women. I don't praise women. I don't hold women on a pedestal. That, if you've been, you know, knowing me for years, I know that I don't make a lot of content. But if you've been fortunate enough to catch some of my live or some of my lives or some of the things that I've uploaded, yeah, I talk about relationships, but it's typically not regarding just like one woman. I try to add some flavor in there, because there, quite frankly, we are living in a time where you know, everybody wants to take a crap on men. Nobody really cares about men. Nobody cares what we go through. And when I say nobody cares, I mean, what I'm talking about is in general, right? So there are some people who legitimately care about men and the struggles that we go through and the triumphs that we go through. But generally speaking, no, they don't care. They don't care about us being fathers. They don't care about us. They don't care about the influence that we have in society. You know, they don't care that, they don't care about, you know, the influence, the positive influence that we try to put out there for, you know, for our communities, for our children, for our nieces, our nephews, our cousins, the country. As we can see via the last presidency, And you know, I can honestly say I feel like, you know, the reason that we have a new president in office now is because men, the men and the women that support men, and the women that understand that it's important for their children to come up in a household where it's God, man, woman, and child. That's the reason why, you know, Trump won the election. But getting back to this young man in Nashville, the young black man, 17-year-old black man. So I'm scrolling through YouTube and I'm seeing this chick. Yes, she was a black woman. She's about age 40, somewhere in there. Like I said, some of you might know, but you know, she was talking about how, you know, this individual listens to the manosphere and, you know, listens to people like Andrew Tate and I guess, you know, some of these, I guess, manosphere or you know, male-centered content creators. And what was funny is she was going on and on and on about, oh, he's listening to them, and that's what caused him to go and shoot up the school and you know, do this, and I'm like, okay, I can remember a time. First of all, number one, when I was 17, my mom couldn't tell me what to do. When I was 17, I was already skipping school. When I was 17, I was already leaving school at lunchtime and going to have sex with my girlfriend, who was older than I was at the time. So when I was 17, I was already acting like a grown man. Even though I wasn't, I was already doing grown man things. Living in my mom's house, actually, because by this time, my mother and my stepfather were already separated. They were still legally married, but they were separated. So I also remember a time growing up in the late 90s and 2000s when you know, they try to say that it's the video games. It's the video games that's causing the youth to steal and do all of these things, right? It's the video games, it's the music. Let's be real. Let's be real. At a certain age, we had no business playing Grand Theft Auto. We had no business playing. You know, that's why they started putting ratings on video games. There was a period of time where video games didn't have ratings. But then what happened is that parents started complaining to the video game companies, hey, why are you putting all this violence in? Why are you putting all of these things? My bad, Nabil. My bad. But I hope y'all can still hear me, though. I hope y'all can still hear me. But yeah, let me see. KDH says GTA video game started that. More weed in Chicago. Yeah, hey. Y'all know the California fires is going on. So this is the kind of wind that they're experiencing. And it's actually worse out there. It's actually worse out there than where I am right now. But nonetheless, I know it's windy, guys. Bear with me. I'm sorry. But, you know, I got to get this message out. And like I said, if I use my headset, it's going to be way worse. So put a 1 in the chat if you can actually hear my voice. If you can hear my voice, put a 1 in the chat. Because that's really all I care about. If you can understand what I'm saying, put a 1 in the chat, please. Okay, cool. Okay. Alright. Hold on, y'all. Hold on. Hold on. We gonna get this right. We gonna get this right, man. We gonna get this right. We gonna get this right. All right. Lord. Now. Now I need to. Okay. Can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me a little bit better? If it's a little bit better, give me a 1 in the chat. If it's a little bit better. It's better, y'all? Okay. All right. Okay. So, as we just established, it was Grand Theft Auto that established the ratings on the video games, right? Okay. So, when 50 Cent came out with Get Rich or Die Trying in 2003, I was a freshman. I was a sophomore in high school. So I had to be about 16. Now, let's keep it real. Keep it real. My stepfather, he bought that CD. He bought Get Rich or Die Trying. But before my stepfather bought that CD, right, I had already heard it in the streets. You know, I had already heard it other places. Now, quick question. It's one thing, right, if I'm hearing Get Rich or Die Trying in the streets when I'm walking to school or when I'm hanging with friends, because let's be honest, when your kids are hanging with friends or when they're outside the house, you really don't have too much, you really can't control too much of what they're doing, right? Now, I'm going to keep it 100. I love my stepfather, right? That's my other dad. And I only call him stepdad for the purpose and the context of the conversation. But that's my other dad. He ain't have no business listening to Get Rich or Die Trying around me. Or my brother. That's 3 years younger than me. Now, did he? So, what I'm trying to say is that where was this young man's parents? What was his home life like? What was going on with his family members? Where was his dad at? Where was his uncles at? Where was his older cousins at? Who are the people around him? Did his mother have him playing in sports? Where was the man influence at? And I'm hearing this, this black woman, bash these content creators. And I'm not saying that I support Andrew Tate or, whoever he was listening to. But why is it always the man's fault? Why is it that when something happens with these children that people want to look at excuses as opposed to who's close to them? What was his mother doing? Why didn't his mother have him at the Boys and Girls Club? Why didn't his mother have him be a part of the YMCA programs? Why didn't his mother have him involved in church activity? Why didn't his mother, and I'm not blaming the mother. These are questions as a parent that I'm asking. Because I have raised two daughters for going on 19 years. My oldest daughter will be 19 next month, February 1st. And my youngest daughter will be 17 in October. And when me and their mother were in a relationship, we went above and beyond to make sure that we were as attentive as we could possibly be as parents. And so just like I was explaining to my lady this morning, if anything were to happen at my daughter's school, they're going to be calling myself and her mother. They're not going to be worried about who she was listening to in her phone or who she follows on YouTube or what kind of music she's listening to. They're going to want to know what's going on at home. Why does your child have a fire on? Why is your child, having disturbing thoughts? What's going on? And that's why I said typically, these school shootings are not, it's not typical of black boys, which lets me know that something was going on at home in this young man's life. So what was going on? We live in a time where the internet, and we've been living in this time for about 20 years now, but the internet is raising our children. And as parents, we are allowing these content creators and rappers and athletes and whoever else to have more influence than us, more influence than parents, more influence than parents on these entertainers. And so I brought up the video games and the music to say that when I was going to school, when I was in high school and 8th grade and coming up and stuff like that, it wasn't the video game's fault. I ain't never robbed nobody. I ain't never stabbed nobody. I have never I have never took anyone's life. Mr. Goodbread says the custodial parent needs some consequences. I definitely think that there's some questions that needs to be asked. Mr. Goodbread also says the average parent is a dummy though and have no real information for children. That's absolutely correct. That's absolutely correct. But I just wanted to bring that up right quick, about that young man in Nashville, because everybody, is always looking for an excuse when something goes wrong. Everybody is looking for an excuse when something goes wrong. And we're coming to a time here really soon where you're not about to be able to have excuses. So it's sad what happened, but what happened is not Andrew Tate's fault. What happened is not the angry man's fault. What happened is not Coach Greg Adams' fault. What happened is not Kevin Samuels' fault. Any male-centered content creator, it's none of their faults. I don't care how, I guess how bad, I guess you could say, they talk about women. It's none of their faults. Some of these children shouldn't even have access to the internet. I'll give you a prime example. I got 2 phones, y'all. Actually, I got 3 phones, but only 2 work. I got this phone that I'm talking to y'all on right now, and I got another phone in my car. Now, on my other phone, that other phone is just, I don't have it on a server or anything like that. It's Wi-Fi only. But I got an app on there that I can see my daughter's location. I can see who she's calling. I can see who she's texting. I can see what website she's going to. I can also block any website that she wants to go to. I can block any phone number from my phone. I have access to her Instagram. Pretty much anything that I need to have access to in my daughter's phone, I have access to it. And and she knows this. She knows that until she gets 18, she'll continue to have that tracking device on her phone. And I've even went in her messages, and I've seen in there where we've had a conversation, and next thing you know, she'll go running her mouth to her friends talking about, oh, my daddy said. Yeah, I've seen that numerous times. And this is what I'm talking about. Some people say, oh, privacy. No, you get your fucking privacy when you start paying your fucking bills. How about that? How about that? Mr. Goodbread says, these people walking around here suey, and they don't want to go out alone, so they turn the suey into a homie. Absolutely. Absolutely they do. Absolutely they do. And you know, it's just crazy, man. So I guess men, you know, we're gonna take the blame for that as well. You know, as if you know, there's not countless women online talking about abort black babies and I hate black men and I hate men and I wish all men would die, and you know, as if there aren't female content creators of all ethnicities, you know, saying stuff like that. So, but you know, men are the leaders, right? So, you know, we got to take the blame somehow, somewhere, somehow. But y'all give me 1 second. Hold on. 1 second here. Hold on. All right, y'all. My bad. My bad, y'all. I had to go. I had to go and drain the old racehorse. Yeah. And no, for those wondering, no, I didn't just go out here in public. There was a restroom right there. I don't need y'all thinking, oh, Zone nasty. Zone just gonna go out there and piss. Yo, shout out to Mr. Goodbread, man. And I quote, in the words of Mr. Goodbread, I quote, stop peeing in these streets. Oh, man. Let me see here. Mr. Goodbread says, men raised by women, not the other way around. So if all black boys are evil, what do that say about the mothers raised that raised those men. Absolutely. 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 But yeah, man. Yeah. And I know that was ghetto and crazy, y'all. My bad. Nigga had to piss, man. Shit. I walk in the bathroom. I walk in the bathroom. Some old ass man walked in behind me talking about some, oh, this wind makes you have to use the bathroom, huh? Nigga, why the fuck is you talking to me when I'm pissing? Oh, gay ass. And I know he was just trying to be friendly and make conversation. But man, come on, man. Come on. It's a such thing called urinal etiquette. Don't go to the next urinal right beside me. And don't talk to me when I'm pissing, nigga. And don't touch me when we in the bathroom either. Anyway, yeah, so I just wanted to talk about that right quick because it's funny because let's see here. It's funny because my lady was with me when I was listening to that conversation earlier about the chick, you know, who was basically blaming the manosphere for that young man's behavior, and she was like, my lady was like, she got a point, and I'm like, yeah, she is making some valid, she does have some decent points, but listen at the way that she's speaking. She's speaking from a place of disgust because she has a problem with men. Like, for instance, right now, look at how I'm talking right now, right? I'm not raising my voice. And if I am talking a little bit loud, it's because the wind is blowing. And, you know, I have to talk loud. I don't have to yell to get my point across. I can just get my point across. And either you're going to listen or not listen. You know, either they're going to subscribe to the channel or not. Either they're going to hit the like button or not. You know? So, yeah, man. But anyway, so, you know, we're in a new year, 2025. You know, we got a new president now. Donald Trump is in office. Vice President J.D. Vance is the vice president. Let me see here. The Bell 5000 says, why aren't school shooting highlighted more often in black community? Like it's just a white thing. You know, the Bell, that's actually that's a good assessment. I will say this, right? This is just me personally. I think it's just social engineering, right? I think that ever since Columbine happened, so these ladies in front of me, they got some big asses. I'm sorry, but they ain't got no business wearing the pants. I would turn the camera around, but I'm in public and I don't want to be a creep. Anyway, I think it's social engineering, and I think that it's how the media creates propaganda and creates a narrative. And right now, this is why we're seeing such a big push with things like the freedom of speech. And this is why you're seeing President Donald Trump pass things like pass legislation that prevents the freedom of speech from being censored. And so now we're moving into a society in a situation where the public is the media. The bill also says that there's a reason why they have metal detectors in majority black schools, heavy police presence at sporting events, and heavy security at black schools. Absolutely, I agree. I agree with that. There absolutely is a reason. Absolutely. But again, and even more so than the social engineering of the information that they feed the public, as bad as it sounds, they're basically preparing you to be locked up. They're basically socializing the student for the prison to pipeline system, the school to prison pipeline. I don't see gang outreach in the white community. That's true. That's true. I could agree. I could agree with that. I could agree with that, but we also don't have a bunch of white rappers talking about they're in the gang either, or that they claim they're part of some set. So I would agree. Yeah, I don't see gang. I mean, I'm in the white community and I definitely don't see it. I would agree. I would definitely agree with that. My thing is, the bill also says parenting standards are at an all-time low in the black community. I would agree. I would agree. I would agree with that, the bill. It's crazy because it's, you would think that all black people have went through in America, from slavery to post-Civil War segregation, the Civil Rights Movement. You would think that with everything that black people have went through, that the standards would be higher. Unfortunately, no. Nope. Nope. And the funny thing is, like, with me, right? I've always been the type to, like, for me, right? I've always been the type that whatever job I work, I make a priority to prioritize my work schedule around my kids. I'm meaning I'm not gonna have my kids, waiting to be picked up for an hour or two after school. Do you guys know? Because my daughter lives with her mother, right? Primarily. Do you guys know that, like, just a couple months last year, couple months ago last year, I didn't know. So I didn't know that my daughter needed to be picked up from school, right? Because I thought that her mother was going to be picked up. Do you know that? And I'm not trying to, say that my daughter's mother is a bad person. But do you know that my daughter sat at school because for an extra 2 hours, starving and hungry, because her mother did not tell me that she needed to be picked up from school, that she didn't have a ride from school that day. And when I tell y'all I was hot, I had to hang up the phone and I had to calm myself down. Because, I don't like my daughter being anywhere she's not supposed to be for longer than she's supposed to be, especially school. Right. And so, and with that situation, all I can say is that I'm just glad that my daughter is almost 18 and that I will not have to deal with her mother anymore. That's all I can say at this point. I can't wait for my daughter to be 18. I can't wait. The Bell 5000 says, black men need fight for our rights all over again. Black men need to fight for our rights all over again and focus strictly on our rights. I absolutely agree. I was listening to Coach Greg Adams a couple days ago, and he was talking about how the reason that the left, meaning the Democrats and the women, have been so progressive and successful over the past 4 years, and even longer than that, is because they make their rights a business. Men, we just want to advocate for rights, but men don't make their rights a business. You see. Whereas women do make their rights a business. So, yeah. And I will say this as well, right? I don't think no man should be having babies outside of wedlock. And I don't think men should. And if you're not going to get legally married, you shouldn't have children with a woman that you don't plan to be with for a long period of time. You shouldn't have babies with women that you don't plan to be with for a long period of time. But, so I guess I'll talk about the main topic. And I know this has been a ghetto live stream, y'all. Wind blowing. I had to stop and use the restroom and all that, putting the phone down, you know, wind blowing. Y'all can barely hear me. But it is what it is, man. I don't care about being fancy, schmancy. I just, you know what I'm saying, when I got something to say, I just want to say it and be out. So, America has entered the golden age, right? Whatever that means, according to Donald Trump. And President Donald Trump has been hard at work already. He's done more in his first 2 days in office than probably President Biden has done his whole term of 4 years. You know, people are saying that he revoked the 1965 I can't remember what it's called, but basically it's the bill that basically says that employers have to provide equal opportunity, you know, no matter what race, religion, gender, creed, all that kind of stuff, right? He's also signed an executive order, I believe, or some type of bill that says that federal buildings can no longer fly rainbow flags or Black Lives Matter flags. Basically, government institutions can only fly one flag, and that's the American flag. And you know, he's got some other things coming down the pipeline, and basically, you know, by way of us going back to a traditional, somewhat type of society, this is supposed to put us in the golden age. And you know, all I can say, oh yeah, and men and women, there's only two genders, men and women. And so, and like I said earlier, he's also signed an executive order, something about mainstream media can't censor free speech or something like that. So, like I said, he's been hard at work, and it's about damn time that something like this happens, because, you know, how do we get to a place where we have more than two genders? Trans woman, trans man. I mean, you're either, that's a trans man is, a trans woman is just a guy with titties, right? You know, and a trans woman is just a woman that cut off her titties, right? I mean, honestly, like, how do we get to a place like this in society? I mean, that is insane and sick. And yes, I'm saying it. And yes, I know this is going to be on the internet forever. And yes, that's why I'm saying it. And yes, whoever you are that has, you know, now my thing is, be whatever you want to be. If you want to be a trans person, be a trans person. If you want to be a gay person, be a gay person. If you want to be a straight person, be a straight person. If you want to be a person that's not attracted to anybody, then be that. Be it. I don't care. But the problem comes in when you try to tell kids, you try to tell a little boy that he's not a boy, and you try to tell a little girl that she's not a little girl. And when, you know, a little boy gets inappropriately touched by an adult and he starts acting funny, you go and tell that boy that he needs to be a little girl. And then when a little girl gets touched inappropriately by a grown person, by a grown adult, you then go and tell that little girl that she needs to be a boy. and that's going to solve the problem. When in reality, no, They were probably touched inappropriately, whether at school or at home or at church or, you know, at a daycare, whatever. And they just can't, maybe they can't verbally articulate what happened to them. So that's why they're acting funny. You know, you literally had grown ass men going in women's restrooms and grown ass men going in women's locker rooms and playing in women's sports. Now I'm gonna be real with that. That's the women's fault, because the women are so accepting, you know, of any and everything, and women will stand up for the right to, you know, go have an abortion, or you know, or you know, they'll go fight for the rights of whatever gives them the most power. But when it comes to fighting for the rights of common sense things like a woman is a woman, oh well, if this man feels like he's a woman and he wants to wear a dress and a skirt and paint his fingernails, women will go all in for that. They go all in for the wrong things. All the while, you know, women, they think that they're being so progressive, and they think that they're being so forward, and they're being so liberating, not understanding that all you're doing in the end is you are making it unsafe for children. That's all you're doing in the end. That's all you're doing in the end. And see, with this whole revoking of the equal employment, what's going on, JD 1975? Salute. You see here. There we go. And see what's going on, like I was saying, is all you're doing, and some of you men out there should be ashamed too. Some of you liberal men, you leftist men, you know, and like I said, you know, I have no problem with anybody's sexual preference, sexuality. You know what I'm saying? If you want to be a man and you want to wear a dress, that's cool, fine. But don't touch me, don't look at me inappropriately, and don't touch no kids. Don't mess with no kids. You know, I gotta be honest. If we're gonna have, you know, I guess a free country, right? I'm not gonna sit here and say, oh, you know, no, you know, people can do whatever they want to do. Just don't mess with me. Don't mess with people that don't want to be messed with, and don't mess with children. And don't tell little boys that they're girls, and don't tell girls that they're little boys. And don't try to push your progressive ideology of what sexuality or what gender is. Don't do that. And that's just like that 17-year-old young man in Tennessee. What happened was he probably started listening to people, male-centered content, or people in the manosphere, whatever you want to say. And when he heard that in his 17-year-old mind, because what he's not understanding is a lot of these men, you know, that might have, you know, hatred or vitriol or bitterness towards women, what he's not understanding in his 17-year-old mind is that a lot of those men that have those type of opinions on the internet are 2 and 3 times your age. So they have enough life experience that they can feel that way. And so when a person comes into information that is too much for their mind to handle, that's when they end up doing inappropriate things, or that's when they end up breaking down or melting down. And next thing you know, you basically have a system overload. And again, it's not any content creator's fault that that young man did what he did. But again, where was his parents? Where was his father? His uncles? Who was in charge of the information that he was taking in? The Bell 5000 says, until it kicks them in the ass in sports and in the penitentiary. Right. And men, I want you to understand that now that the government only recognizes two genders, there is no getting arrested and going to a women's prison. Nope. You're going to get arrested and your ass is going to sit, your ass is going to be in county with a bunch of stinking booty hole butt ass ninjas. You ain't going to no female prison no more. All that I'm a man but I'm really a woman shit, that shit ain't gonna work no more. Your ass gonna be in there with Sweet Dick Ronnie. Your ass gonna be in there having the shit in front of a bunch of niggas and stinking up the motherfucking cell. And you know that shit gonna stink because that prison food ain't healthy. Got your guts and shit fucked up. Gotta sit there and push and push and push until you feel like your intestines about to come through your behind. Let me stop. I'm getting a little bit too graphic here. So you think you about to go up in your local ABC store and steal a pint of Hennessy if you want to. Your ass gonna be right in the county with the rest of the niggas. Talking about, I's a girl, sir. You's a nigga with a wig. Get your ass in there. Can y'all believe that? We literally went through an era in this country where where niggas with a wig actually got to say they were women, and women that dressed like men actually got to say they were men. Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. But you know, the golden age of America is here. And you want to know what's funny? You know, people are saying, oh, you know, with Trump revoking the equal opportunity employment, right? Which brings us back to a merit-based society. This is one thing that black people don't have to worry about. And you know why black people don't have to worry about it? Because the large majority of people, black people, men and women, who are in corporate America, who are successful in corporate America, those men and women have had to work for that position. Those men and women have had to work for that position. And see, this is what we have to understand as well. How did black people in this country operate before 1965? You had to actually be good at what you did to get into a field that you were trying to get into. You actually had to have some skills, and you had to have some common sense. It wasn't no getting in this position just because you're a black man or just because you're a woman. And you know, and honestly, it's going to be better for our kids, right? Because now it's gonna push our it's gonna push our educational system to actually have to say, okay, who's doing the best work? It's actually gonna force our corporate system to say, okay, who's doing the best work? Hold on, y'all. I'm watching this guy. This ninja got a goddamn Rottweiler, and that's one dog I don't mess with. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna try something right quick. Let me see here. Let's see. Does it let me? Hold I don't know. I was trying to see because YouTube has this feature where you can actually add somebody to the stream, but I don't know how to work that on here. But yeah, man. We do need a society like, I mean, hey, I'm not complaining, man. Like, you know, people are going to say, oh, you know, Trump's racist and all this kind of stuff. But listen, man, listen, as a black man or woman, I'm going to tell you right now, you don't got time to be caring about who's racist and who's not. You know, you really don't. So I suggest, you know what I'm saying, you just focus on getting your money and focus on taking care of your family, focus on taking care of your children, focus on doing what's best for your society, your community, and speak up in spaces where your voice can be heard. And, you know, that type of thing. You feel me? Because that's one thing that's not going to change about America. America, I'm going to be honest with you. America is not a lift all tides government or society. And the reason why why America is not a lift all tides society is because we are a capitalist country. We are a capitalist nation. And because we are so focused on capitalism, because we are so focused on the bag, unfortunately, what that does is, as a society and as a country, it jades us and it jades our vision as a whole. And so we become less compassionate about the real issues that we have as a society as a whole. So what we should do is that once we get the bag, we need to focus on helping other people the best we can, and we need to focus on helping other people get the bag. And I'm gonna be honest, right? I'm not gonna lie. I probably could be a millionaire by now. You know, people know my story. I've told numerous stories about, you know, how I work with different people in the industry. You know, people know I'm a music producer, all this kind of stuff, right? But over the past 3-4 years, like, I've really slowed down when it comes to music, because what people don't know and don't understand is that fast money it really does something to you. And I'm not willing to jeopardize my integrity, and I'm not willing to sell my soul for nobody. You ain't finna have me on videotape doing nothing crazy. That's a fact. So, yeah. But, so, you know, I have no problem. I have no problem making my money different ways until, you know, I get back ready to, you know, make my rounds in the music industry and start producing music again. Start, you know, making moves like I once used to. It's really difficult to do something like that and raise a family at the same time. Really, really difficult. So I would advise any man that has any kind of dream, you know, do one of two things. Either remain single until you get to your destination, or if you're going to choose to be with a chick young and have children young, that woman needs to be on your program. That woman needs to respect God and love God and respect you. And if while you're on your journey to the top, if it ends, you know, I would advise for you to remain single until you get to where you need to be, and then maybe reconsider being in a relationship at that time. But that's what I would advise, because raising a family takes a lot of energy, and you know, it takes finances, but it really takes a lot of energy, a lot. All right, so appreciate everybody for stopping through. Make sure you hit that like button and hit that subscribe button if it's in your heart. I apologize for this janky live stream, windy and stuff like that. Perhaps next time, if I'm outside doing a live stream and it's windy, I think I might have I think I'll do this, you know what I'm saying? Wear the hood. I'll probably have some better headphones too. Some better quality headphones too. All right, so appreciate y'all for stopping through. Love y'all. Make sure y'all hit that like button. Be safe out here. All right, peace.